What's going on, YouTube? This is like the fourth time me trying to make this video. Hopefully I can get this done this time, because I'm getting frustrated. Those of you that've been follow me for the last several days, you know what's going on with my father, the whole situation with my stepmom being... Basically, everything in his life got abandoned, including me, and I'm the only kid that's stuck by his side throughout everything that has happened, everything that he's done in his life. I've always been the one that stuck around him, and this is a very traumatic situation for me. And I wanted to share with you guys the stuff that I brought home from his house. This isn't part of it. I'll move this out of the way. It's a future review I have to get to, but this is the stuff that I brought home from my dad's house, the stuff that means more to me than money, if you can believe that, because I do love money. But any of you out there could offer me any dollar amount for this stuff, and you'd never get your hands on it. Now, I understand it. 99.9% of you look at this stuff and think, wow, what a bunch of junk. And you're right. It is, to anybody other than me. The majority of the stuff I have here has been around since either before I was born or when him and my mother were still together. And I'm going to show and share some of these memories with you, but I want to get through this real quick. I blocked out some of my dad's information here, but this is his military service record. 6 years, guys. United States Air Force. He's also a college graduate. He's a electronic engineer, has been his whole life. Brilliant man. You wouldn't know it by some of his recent decisions and, hell, some of his past decisions. He made a lot of mistakes, as a lot of us have. He's a brilliant man. Brilliant man. United States Air Force. As you can see, he was honorably discharged right here. All right. You can see his signature right there. That's the house I was born in, right here in Midwest City. You can see that his decorations are Small Arms Expert Marksmanship Ribbon, Combat Readiness Medal, Air Force Longevity Service Ribbon, National Defense Service Medal, Air Force Good Conduct Medal with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Air Force Outstanding Unit Award with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters. Here's his military education right here. You can read that for yourself. But went on to college, and he did get his degree, and he has been an electronic engineer ever since. But even before that, he's really been an electronic engineer his entire life. He self-taught everything. This was one of his prized possessions, if you can believe it. It's a TI-59 that he bought back in the day. It's got a cartridge in it. I'm not going to show it to you because it's too difficult to pull this out, but it's 1979 or 77, I think. 1977 cartridge. I couldn't begin to tell you how to try to get this thing to work. I know it used to. Probably doesn't anymore. All of his most important papers I found in here. Actually, my brother Alize found all this stuff. He's got letters. This is from Ford Aerospace in Andover, Maryland. I guess it was he was going there for a polygraph test. Last I knew, he was working on getting his security clearance or something for some project. I don't know what it was, but this little thing has not much to do, but I do remember these. I had to pick it up. It was on the floor of his shop. It's an old Pentium 3 chip from 2001. Almost hard to believe. 1 gigahertz, 256K cache, 133 megahertz bus speed, and 1.75 core voltage. It's an old processor. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal when it comes to him. But all of his documents from the divorce with my stepmom is in here. Checks, carbon copies of checks that I could read and see where he wrote them to. And I've spent a lot of time going through this stuff, and to be honest with you, it's getting depressing. So I'm going to share this video with you guys, and then I'm going to put this stuff up for a later date. I'm going to get back to it. But here's my father in the Air Force right here. And there's some pictures of me, exclusive to you guys. Little brat right there. Here's me when I was a little bit older. Horrible hair. Still have that same cowlick. Never could get rid of it. It's my brother and sister, Tim and Tammy, when they were little bitty. This turns out, if I read it right, to be like the best friend of my dad's mother, my grandmother. I don't know who that guy is right there. Could be my dad, possibly. And I don't think it really looks exactly. I found my original birth certificate. I didn't even know he had that. I just had to bring these home. Anything Atari related I brought home. And I'll explain that in a minute. But this is how data used to be stored, guys. Cassette tape. This one hasn't even been opened. But here's another one. This one has been opened. I found some cartridges that have really nothing to do with anything. I just brought them anyway. Come over here and look at some of this stuff. I found an Atari printer, which doesn't hold any real sentimental value to me. It was just kind of cool to see an Atari printer still in the box. This is a filthy Raycom. This is a job he worked out in Terre Haute. Well worn, well used. Nobody could ever say he wasn't a hard worker. He worked coal mines and courthouses, prisons, keeping the infrastructure running for local police, sheriffs, things of that nature. He had a very important job, no doubt about that. This, I don't know exactly what it is, to be honest with you, but it's from 1982, and when I saw it on the floor of his office, it instantly brought back memories. He used to have this thing, and we had a telescope, and we'd go outside, and he'd show me the constellations, and he'd show me the rings of Saturn with the telescope, and he always had this. I saw that, and I couldn't believe it. When I looked at the date on the back, it was 1982. Pretty certain that's the same one. I don't even know what this is. It doesn't work. I plugged it in. I don't know what it does. It's a Heathkit Packet 232. All I remember is this was part of like his ham radio setup or something. It had pretty little lights that used to flash. It used to impress the hell out of me when I was a kid. I don't know what it is. It does not turn on. I plugged it in. And, well, it probably doesn't turn on because it sounds like something's seriously screwed up in there. But I plugged all this stuff in. That just brought back memories, so I wanted to keep it. This has no real value to me at all. Neither does this external floppy drive. It's just one of the things my brother picked up trying to help me out. My sister Jenny went with me, and she helped me sort through a lot of stuff too, so appreciate all of them. And these drives have a lot of sentimental value to me because my dad and I used to build computers, and believe it or not, this is a hard drive. This is what a hard drive used to be back in the day. And I took one of each. We've got a SCSI. You can see these little orange-looking things down here. Those are Terminators. Yeah, Terminators. This is a SCSI drive. This is a Seagate ST277N. And these are back in the day of ISA motherboards. Most of you probably won't know what that is, and I'm not going to get into telling you about it, but just take my word for it. This is an ST296N. This is also you can see it's missing the Terminators down there. This is also a SCSI drive. But this one right here holds the most value to me. This is my favorite Seagate ST251. And you have your tracks, sectors, cylinders, heads, everything right there. This is an MFM drive. This is what used to store data. And this drive was a big deal. It was a 40 megabyte drive. This right here was my dad's favorite joystick. I remember when he bought it and he just showed it off, and I was just mesmerized by it. This is a Microsoft Sidewinder 2. It actually plugs into the wall, if you can believe that, and it has a USB port. Plugs in right here. I don't know if it works. This I don't care about, but he used to live for Flight Simulator on his computer. And this was like his pride and joy, man, when it came to that. So when I found it, I had to bring it home. This is that printer I found. Unfortunately, the Atari power supply that I got from his place does not work. So I'm going to have to get a few power supplies and try out all of this stuff because I don't know exactly what works and what doesn't. But that can't be tested. But that doesn't really have any sentimental value to me either because we didn't have that when I was a kid. This is my sister Tammy again, another one of his, obviously that was important to him. Pictures, lots of pictures. Gary Shears should be on here. Yeah, second row. He's the third from the right. Try to zoom in on this. This was my father right here. right there where my thumb is. It's my old man. And as you can see, this is 1974. He may have made a lot of mistakes, but I mean, I'm always going to be proud of his accomplishments. That is his father and his mother, my grandma and grandpa Shear. Lots of other pictures that we're not going to go through because you guys probably aren't interested. Certifications. It's a picture of my father and mother from back in the day. And this right here is my father's 1973 high school yearbook from Sullivan, Indiana. I found it to be pretty interesting, but we're not going to go through that either. Photo album, we're not going to go through that either, but I want to show you this Atari stuff right here. This is an Atari 800, and this is the first computer I ever learned how to work on. I programmed on it at the age of about 4, maybe 5. I started programming. I learned how to write games. This was the data drive right here, and it does work. It rewinds, it fast forwards, stop and eject works. That piece I'll have to glue back on. Play does not work. I'll take it apart. I can probably fix that. This is an Atari 810 floppy disk drive right here. Like I said, I don't know if any of this stuff works. I'll have to check into it. There's a RAM card in here that I remember my dad soldering on when I was a little kid, and I remembered it. And I know that this is the same Atari because I took it apart, and there are hacker wires and solder all over one of these memory modules. So this is the computer that I programmed on. And I always said, I never talked to my dad about when he died, that's really the only thing I really wanted from him. I wanted this computer and all the original accessories that came with it. And one of those accessories is this. There's your Atari 835 interface. Can't find the modem. It used to be a modem, if you can believe it. A computer this old had a modem. But this is probably the most important thing that I got from him next to those papers and these pictures. We got some drives down here. These things are... These drives down here are Indus GTs for the Atari. These were these were expensive drives, and they were extremely fast. Again, today they're not really... None of this stuff is probably really worth anything to anybody other than me. I took this because I don't even know what it is. I mean, I know it's a power supply and it's Motorola, which means it's probably good quality, but I don't know the first thing about it. But it looked like something that he had used many times, so I went ahead and snatched that up too. This, I remember, I don't know if this is the original one, but this is a programmer. It programs chips. You can actually put a chip in there and program it to do whatever you tell it. I don't know how to use it, but again, I know it's something that was important to him when he got it. This doesn't work. I've plugged it in. I don't know anything about this stuff, but I'd assume this is a ham radio. It's a Kenwood TS-530S. Pretty sure it's a ham radio. But like I said, it doesn't work. Don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know anything about it. This I took because it looked cool. I think it's just a CB radio. Down here is another one of these things that was really important to him. At least it used to be. And this is his old Heathkit SB102 right here. And this is the SB600. And I kidding you not, guys, it looks like this thing has been sitting underwater. Look at this plug. And the internals of this thing look absolutely horrible. It looks like it's been sitting underwater, but I'm going to show you guys something. We're going to plug it in. Look at that beauty. Those of you that aren't old enough, you don't know what those are. Those are tubes. I watched my dad replace them. I watched my dad tune this thing up many times. And she's alive. I don't know if she works. I don't know how any of this works. I know that this knob here obviously is not working. It's not changing the dial in any way, shape, or form. I don't know anything about ham radio. But, I mean, you can turn it off and on. It's definitely pretty cool to look at. It's seen better days. it's pretty beat up. Someone smashed a lot of his stuff. I really wish this wasn't one of the things that got smashed, because this, I know it was pretty important to him, and it's definitely important to me. But with that being said, guys, I wanted to share something that wasn't so father bashing with you. And I wanted to, he wasn't a great father. Well, he wasn't. He obviously wasn't a great husband either. But this man was still my father. He's responsible for bringing me into this world. And he's also responsible for me knowing a lot of stuff that I know, and he had a lot to do with the person I became today. You know, whether he did it the right way or the wrong way. This is my dad. And I feel like I just cherry-picked through his prized possessions in the hopes of keeping his memory alive. And in a future video, I plan on setting all this stuff up somehow, some way, if I can get it working or not. At least props. Put some of those pictures up in this office that I record in regularly, since it's pretty empty. And I just kind of pay tribute to him that way. You know, I don't know. I'm very confused and conflicted over this whole situation right now. I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's okay. I am worried about him. I'm pissed at him. I'm sad. I've caught myself starting to get depressed a couple times. So now that this video is done, I'm going to pack all this stuff up and put it upstairs for a while until I can, you know, I'll need to get some money to get parts and see what I can do to make some of this stuff work. And I don't know, I just want to share this with you guys, because hopefully this is the end of this negative BS that's been going on, this drama with him at least. And if you're out there, Dad, if I know you're probably pissed off that I said some things I've said and I've shared some of these videos, but you know, I'm sorry, this is how I deal with stuff. I'm pissed off, I'm hurt, so are a lot of other people. I'm worried. Nobody's heard from you. You just disappeared. So regardless of what's happened, I'll always love you, and I miss you, and I hope that you're okay, and more importantly, I hope that you're happy. Wherever you're at, whatever it is you're doing, I truly hope you're happy, because it looks like you've been searching for that your entire life, and maybe you've never found it. Guys, that's my story. Till next time, like, comment, subscribe, stay safe out there.